shining on our eyes. Bankers dance on the broken dreams, but in our hearts we spark the flames. Freedom calls out from the dark. You will ignite, we'll leave a mark. Big or little Sita, take the lead. We're fighting for every heart that bleeds. No longer shackled by their chains. Youth is our armor, courage remains. Behind the curtain lies their snare. United we will break their glare. Together we light up the night. In this fight we find our might. Bankers dance on the broken dreams, but in our hearts we spark the flames. In every heart let hope take flight. Eternal vigilance is alright.
Well, brothers and sisters, remember who you are. Recover your vril and return home. And know that we, of all people, love you on the one and only real reality level. And before I forget, I want to start with today. I was so this was 8/12. It's 8/13 now, or August 13th. But yesterday at 11:03, for real. When this happened, I looked at my phone. It was 11:03. And yesterday, I was talking, writing in the comments to our beloved sister about Maria being 31, 13, and 131. Well, the funny thing is, in Jewish Kabbalah, 113 is for the Tower card. And check this out. Truth, may I be damned if I lie. But I was on Towers Road, and the Tower card is the 113. It's the Tower card, disaster, accident, fatal accident, is 113 is the definition to the Tower card. So I'm delivering and I am completely parked, and there's this is a 35-mile-an-hour street. And there's no, what am I trying to say? Oh, there's no houses. There's a little stretch, and then there's this one house. Well, I'm delivering a package there, and I, have all these lights and shit all over the car. The top, the truck. The top, there's 4 different lights flashing and going crazy. And I am, completely stopped, parked, and still in the truck. And a kid, 17-year-old kid, slams into the back of the truck. The first thing he told me is, I don't know how, but I never even seen you. And what's crazy is he's just driving straight down the street. We're just on a very straight 2-lane street. And like the cop said, he never hit his brake. He hit you square in the middle of the truck with a big ass car, like a 4-door big family, like the cop says, 15-year-old big heavy car. So, am I trying to say I'm a targeted person? This may have been just an accident, right? But I'm saying in the past, I for real, like, it feels weird to, talk about, really, because it's kind of like you're talking to the people who are doing it, like when you see the real data evidence, the information that's missing, like this. You existed before you came here. Do these people in the Matrix who practice magic, maybe they are stuck here and been here for a long time. Even if they aren't, do they know how to identify us? Being that we were totally someone right before we entered in this world. And Maria Orsic said to me 13 years ago, yes, they do. Do you want to know how, Joe? The same way you could, through your astrology, through your birth chart. And then on another level, she said to me, you are the universe. The universe represents the individual person. The machine elf creator that can create, with his words. Like Maria said, the real story is 1,000,000 times a million. 1,000,000 times 1,000,000 times more interesting than God killed his son. What God? Which God? Our ancestors weren't that stupid. Well, the higher power did. The higher power killed his son. Okay, you really make sense now. The intelligent designer massacred and ripped apart his son. Oh yeah, that's intelligent design, isn't it, nigga? And let me just say, a special fuck you to white people and how fucking stupid you are, since I'm Irish, German, French, Italian. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And you know what proves it, nigga? You know what absolutely is the data evidence against your stupid ass white race bullshit? Miguel Serrano is that you don't heed a goddamn word he says. You don't know what love without death is. You are most white. Let me tell people from other races. I know you know this, but I just want to say it. Most white people are real N-words. You know what I mean? They'd steal from you. They would stab you in the back. They'll lie about you. They'll gossip about you. There's nothing inherently moral about being lighter skinned or darker skinned for that fact. As far as I can see, if someone has some fucking information from the goddamn Jewish illusion, then leave it in the comments, niggas. And people are, how dare you talk? Fuck, we're at the end of the fucking world. We're at the end of the fucking world. What are you waiting for to talk like you want to? What are you waiting for? To die? Like that car hit me so hard. He said I never hit the brake. I never seen him. Because the cop said, man, you hit straight in the middle of the... And you know what he was doing. You know he was looking at his phone. So he almost killed me for some like, hey dude, what's up? You know, that's the fucking value of life in this goddamn country. You know, I was trying to look at a text that said, what's up, dude? When you almost killed me. Why? Because you're a stupid, and I don't blame this kid. He was scared as can be. It's just the general reflection of just stupid ass America. Like, first of all, what is everybody doing with a fucking car? Why does everyone have a car? You know, I like my customers, they have a car, and every single one of their kids have a car the moment they turn 16. And people like, you know, it's so funny. It just triggered something in me. The book that I'll be coming out with sometime before I'm dead. I remember Maria saying, and I didn't even really know why, I just thought it was a good idea. We would talk about the book, you know, in the ritual. She would say to me, you know, the like hero character's name is Fish. You know, kind of, you know, hooking up with Pisces. And she told me, he don't drive. I didn't know that she didn't on Earth. But like she said, dude, we didn't know people with cars at first. She said I was right on that cusp of the horse to car generation. But she said, like she said, believe me, we knew we were going from dumb Bible Sunday school brainwashing to technotronic mind control. Where they don't no longer have to teach you, they beam it just straight into your fucking brain. It is your personality. As you've seen, okay, let me give it, I'm just going to jump and fucking flow wherever. As you've seen, right, you would expect, you know, people in other countries are listening, you would expect Americans to be rebellious, you know, and get more and more rebellious against what? You know, the people that know the most about George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Thomas Paine in particular, Ben Franklin, you know, these are just my favorites, but it was a whole sort of generation thinking like this. And like Maria said, we were the second wave of that generation. Okay, and most people that I've met are from other countries that know more about these men than we do. You know, because they're interested, like, man, what is America? So they read these wonderful, you know, words of Lucifer, of Big Lou Shiva, Allah Lou Shiva, Allah. Let me tell you, George Washington was writing in the spirit of Allah. Like, how dare you? What are you, a Muslim? No, I'm not. Let me tell you, I am not a Muslim, and I don't trust the Quran nor anything else in this world or anything in the Maya or the illusion. But you know what I do trust? Allah. You know, what are you talking about? You'll find out. You're smart. You'll figure it out. That's what Maria used to say to me. You're smart. You'll figure it out. She just said, and you did. Thanks to you, mother. And these people in these other countries, they hear all the propaganda like Americans walk around with like machine guns on their back and just guns everywhere, land of guns, and they read the forefathers. They're like, damn, man, these people are the true rebellious rebels for freedom. Like, give me a gun and give me a beer and give me a good time. Give me some marijuana. And I will fight for that freedom with this gun on my back till I'm dead. It was almost completely dead. But that spirit, that vibration, that essence that is truly Mary's died 4/20/2024. Okay? And people from other countries are like, what the fuck's going on? America gets more tame, more controlled, more afraid, and less the home of the brave. Which is, again, funny, triggering Maria also. She told me, have your hero guy, because he's from Missouri, call his friends braves. I was like, damn, that's so great to be calling your friends braves. It's just such a great positive enforcement. Like, what's up, brave? And she's like, who's dumb? The genocided Indians or the materialistic white people? Christians. Who's dumb? The Indians? Yeah, they were killing each other and shit. You know why? Because they lived like Americans, like Americans. And then the white Christians came over and said, we're going to live like the Pope, nigga. No fun, no dancing, no music, no nothing. No beer, because believe it, America loves to hurt itself more than anything else. You're like, we got good, healthy things. No, we want to drink, 200 ounces of yeast. All right. Hey, that's what America's about, to be free to do that. But you're not an American if you won't fight for the freedom to do that. And check this out. This is how easily and dumb bought off America is. They're like, you can have that. They had the prohibition where they tried to ban alcohol. Literally, America is in a position where it could, the wealth and power could completely decide. There came like a crux, a threshold point in America in the early 1900s. The wealth poured in, and the former slaves, the people who could barely survive, with enough food. People have to realize, man, people died all the time of malnutrition. Dude, they were getting a couple pieces of bread a day. I'd be dead in a fucking week. Yeah, I think you get the point. That, well, again, I'll go back a little clearer. What happened? How did the most rebellious generation that died getting hit by lead balls, died by the tens of thousands, fighting for revenge for their ancestors that died with no name, no history? I just, people are like, why are you so hard on America? I tried for so many years to wake people up. And let me tell you, this is exactly where America still is to this day. This Trump guy, he said, I heard this other other guy say to Trump guy, "Oh, what about that Epstein shit?" And like a goddamn parrot. Trump never went to the island. Trump never went to the island. He said, how fuck you know? How do you know? You work here. You work here like us, fucking loading trucks or something. And you know Trump didn't go to the island. Trump didn't go to the island. Why? Because puppet clown said so. That's why. Because Fox News said fake news, except for Fox. This is how stupid. Let me tell people in America. There's like still like three or four main TV channels, and Trump and his people call. Let's say there's four. There might be three. I'm so out of touch. So let's say there's four. Trump, for all these years, continually says that the other three, besides Fox News, is fake news. But this mainstream outlet is real news. And what does Fox say? Trump didn't go to the island. Trump didn't go to the island. Yeah, because the island came to Trump, you fucking clown-faced idiots. Just look at the jester juggle over there. Look at the clown fucking dance with his big shoes and his makeup face and his fake hair. With a Big Mac flying out of his mouth, sliding out of his mouth, just gulping them down 2 bites at a time. I don't know what to say, But I'm going to leave that and let it, Maria do her thing. Like she said. But we wanted to talk about the supernatural aspect of accidents. And is every accident black magic? Is, absolutely no accidents ever black magic. What's really going on here? And like Mother was telling me earlier, tell your story, Tell you how you found out about this. So back when Maria was guiding me and teaching me about who's really behind, who is really making the decisions and got the authority, the spiritual authority over America and its weapons. And she was showing me how Hollywood, she would tell me shit, and then through the week, I swear it would just show up. Shit would just show up. For no reason, I'd be watching movies like I don't hardly ever watch, regular fictional movies. And some reason just a weird, I got used to it. I straight up got used to it. Like she said, what's the use of a teacher in another world if she can't do magic to prove she's here and to teach you? And this is no lie. She was telling me all about the smiley face killers, death cult that is many cells of death squads. And I was listening to, she's probably not known to many people, but Sinead McCarthy was from Renegade Broadcasting. I actually can't remember the name of her show, but I think if you go on Renegade and, find Sinead, that's her and her husband's site. She's probably got some kind of archives. And she did like a whole series on the Process Church, Discordia, Principia Discordia, and the Church of the Subgenus. She lives in Florida. And she did a whole, I believe it was a whole show about how in her searches, this was original research, she came across this Florida case where I think it was the Church of Discord or the Church of the Subject, one of them. Okay, and what this case was some kind of like custody or not, I don't know. It was like some kind of character thing that she was testifying in court about this guy, like his character, saying he was bad, and this is why, because he was involved with this cult. And check this out, what she said. She said, I got really deep into this. Sinead's reading the transcript, you know, if you want to know. And from the best that I can remember, but see, I also know how real this is on another level of being an eyewitness to it. But I just want to say how this real information came to me. And to the best I remember, she was reading from this court transcript that the girl was saying, in this cult, we're taught the principle of discord, to practice chaos magic, and to be able to like sow or bring discord into people's lives and into society in general, because they're it's so funny because the accusations always are they're trying to take over the world. But she said that this was in preparation for when occultists at the top of their occult, which would be Crowley, of course, are going to take over the entire world and replace Christianity with Satanism. With do what you want, except for the slaves. Well, who's the slaves? 95% of you. So check it out. Only 5% of the people get to do what they want. You do what we say. The people who do what they want get to, obviously, tell you what to do, because that's what they want. Don't see that circle? If the people who believe in doing what they want to enslave you, why the fuck's that leave you, nigga? And it's not funny. That hurt me. Because I'm completely fucking with you. You know what I mean? It hurts, dude. This is what the world really is like. And check this out. She said, in this cult, we went through all kinds of training. And she said, to prove that you're like truly with them, or truly have like the higher level power. She talked about different, like initiations and levels. She said one initiation was to look like a homeless person and go live for 3 days under some kind of, and this is what I'm getting at about the accident. She said to go live underneath a highway ramp, or a highway where it's lifted up, and fast without, I really believe she said, without food or water for 3 days in a total meditation that visualizing causing an accident that will kill someone. And she's like, they were like, this is, how you get into the death cult. You psychically kill someone. You psychically cause an accident. Okay, and, obviously people are going to be like, oh, you think everything. You think you're a target. But no exaggeration, the kid that hit me at 11:03, look that up, 113, 311, 113, 311, but mother is 13 and 131. But they like to twist shit. Yeah, so just imagine, I mean, this is court transcript of how people are taught to target someone. You know, and this was like in general, but imagine how evil that is. And she said basically, if you didn't cause an accident that really hurt someone or killed them, that you weren't going to, you weren't going up. You weren't gonna go on you're gonna remain where you're at. You're not powerful enough to psychically kill someone. It like makes me sick to say that, but it makes me sick because of how true it is. And oh, I almost forgot. Thank you. So when I got hit so hard, I was like stunned for a minute, but it took me also a few minutes to realize what the kid who hit me said. I'm standing right there with the cop, and he says, I never seen him. He said, I don't know. I just was looking. He said, I just pulled out right there and, started accelerating. And he said, I just was distracted. I never seen him. And like, obviously, he's looking, right? And was that black magic? Is black magic that simple for someone to maybe follow you and then concentrate on people who are driving? This is exactly what I seen many years ago that someone tried to do to my daughter, but they went a step further and actually loosened the lug nuts on her wheels. And she also was robbed. Someone broke in her house. They knew her schedule and robbed her of almost everything she owned. Everything of value. Like, my mind just goes to Scott Peterson. Like, yeah. You want to talk about targeted people? I just feel led to say, like, think about what it means to be a death cult. I feel like people are, wanting to denounce me at every turn. Like, well, you didn't say this or that perfect, or I don't know. I don't know. But, I mean, juxtapose that with a death cult. What's that mean? I said that to Maria. And she said, it doesn't matter what someone says to you, you can't understand it. I know you. I can't understand it. They're like from another world. It's stunning. And also my mind goes to, well, what is the solution? You know what I mean? Like, God damn, we got how many of these people running around? Well, when they get in power, the masses, unfortunately, start acting like them. Because why? Maria showed me this in a very crazy ritual. I was just talking recently about how one of my whole nights with Maria was seeing myself do shit that I was like, no, that this is not how it happened. It may be the memory, this is the playing out every possibility. That's what she could access there. And she's just magic and knows that this is what it means to like be one with someone, to be able to help them this much. And like she said, Joe, there's no fucking other help. Like, if you're going to heal someone, you're going to fucking trade bodies with them, trade tears with them. It's not going to be anything like God. She's like, believe me, you and I and everyone else had to figure it out without God, as far as we know. But she was showing me that it's like that's why, this vibration of these people is the entire story. And because of that vibration of like, this is never going to end, because these people prey on the masses. And like she said, the masses will take us and burn us at the stake. Sorry. You understand what I'm saying? That the very people we might be defending might turn right around and say, and do the, god damn. Look at the world. Look at how the world is. Look at what Israel is doing. Look at this. Doesn't it prove it's all a lie? You believe that story that they tell about World War II? Hey, I would not doubt that soldiers lost their minds, lined up people and shot them. I would never, ever believe, like Maria said, believe it. We would have been lined up and shot. We would have been with those people, not shooting people. But in all context, when the world is trying to wipe you off the map literally and take your country, rape your women and take your children, it tends to cause world war. And the whole thing, someone's like, you're American, how dare you, how dare you cry for Germans? They killed our people. And what happened to me was reality. What happened to me is I stopped seeing through like the sports mentality of our team and their team. And you know what I said? I will be goddamned if I'm a fucking dupe ass follower. There ain't no fucking way they're telling the truth about any of their wars. These people are the most untrustworthy fucking liars ever. Who are you talking about? The people in control of me now? In control of stealing my money, in control of America, taking our money and killing people, killing poor people. This goes back to World War I and World War II. That's how they got the power, and that's how they pass it on to their sycophant cult. It's a cult. It's one thing I'll agree with David Icke about, It's a cult. It's a death cult, like he says. I hate to be hard on David Icke, but, something's not right. Like, we don't know what, but it doesn't all line. Like, this whole reptile thing is it's a deception. Like Maria says, he knows what he's doing. It's a deception. It's to get you, I don't know. Maria's like, I do know. He's doing it on purpose. He's sent to do it. He's sent to do it. He's sent to tell you, in the most subtle way, the source of evil is off-world reptilian, aliens. And like Maria said, I'm coming to you 4.5 million years in the future. There's no alien reptiles. The people who rape children and laugh, steal your money, burn people alive, they've always been doing it. They'll never stop doing it. They actually killed George Washington with a vaccine, or, they got him sick, and then they, I'm sure, snuck in his room and gave him the final, finished him off. Same with Thomas Jefferson. You read about about his death and like, what the fuck really happened? Thomas Paine also. That's what makes me Maria, she said. 'Cause who the hell knew that I would be with those men, because I didn't die. And they couldn't kill me for one reason, and one reason only. Big Lou and Queen Diana Donna, our mother who loves us like no other. Like Maria said, if there ever was, like a feeling of total love, like she said, individual to individual, unconditional. She said, for real, me and Siggy, for millions of years now, like, I just want to love you like Donna loves us. It's just, there's a true mother essence, I know also I was talking about the mystical end of everything with the end of the zodiac. Like she said, it's not right. We're in the Maya. It's okay. You have to be, it's just telling you that the real world's within you. Right? What's the saying? The real world is nowhere else but within you. I was trying to explain how Maria is like, dude, the zodiac is more personal. It's not supposed to be so like scientifically rigid. She's like, the whole story is about the Libra is really like the lioness of the brother Leo. Like she said, this is the fall of the sun. And it all culminates in what? Death. And she's like, this is what's really going on. The Libra, the lioness, has a magic tail. There's magic in the tail. And it is not separate than Scorpio. And she's like, why? Because the magic in the tail, the mother Scorpio rides on her daughters. The daughter lion, the lioness, is back with her babies on her back. And they're one. The lion and the scorpion. The lion and the scorpion. Like she said, that's the real Odd Couple. I was like, yeah, that's right. And then the Scorpio itself is, the center of the death experience. And she is the scorpion, the serpent, and the snake, which are all in the cat lioness. The lioness has, the fangs. It's got the neck of the bird. She explained it all to me at that time. And the mystical being that the scorpion is, 3 and 1, 1 and 3, Scorpio. And that's the circle of eternal return. Also, completely, totally, that's the beginning of the death experience, or like I said, the center. So moving towards the completion, the mystical horse with the magic tail, right? The lion tail, scorpion tail, and the horse's tail. And she's like, Joe, what don't you have? And I said, a tail. And she's like, yes, you do. That's your story. Okay? But she's saying a magic tale. A magic story. And the other night, I was talking about this. I don't know if it was on, these recordings or not, but I forgot to... She's like, Joe, the mystical completion is the Capricorn, the mermaid goatess, the mama goat with all the milk who can swim to Atlantis and say what? Babby. And again, the tail of the goat is the mermaid. The horse's upper body is the man. Really the man riding the horse. Right? And the scorpion rides on the back of the lion. And she's like, within all that is, the 13th sign. There's 13 signs of the zodiac. I don't know if I talked about this ever. Maria's like, I don't either. Yeah, but she was, okay, I got it, Mama. She was telling me, this is back in like 2011. She was saying to me, to be a goddess, this was like week by week, she would explain more to me what it means to be a goddess. Like I said in the beginning, she said, I know a little more than you. I got a little more essence power than you. That's all you need to know. I was like, damn right. Thank you. And, it moved on to this, where she's like, you're in an illusion. You're in like a computer program. And she said, because of the God of the computer program, the zodiac of the matrix, a lot of it is based on me, because I'm like his devoted daughter. He's not she said, not because so much he loves me, because I love him. She said, he does love me, but I love him so much. She's like, Joe, Lou did all of this for me. All of this. You wouldn't know who I was. I'd just be another woman. She said, without all this technology, we would have never found each other. Literally, Joe, I wouldn't know you. So, yeah, we would stop in the ritual and be like, give thanks. We got to give thanks. She's like, if I said the names of the people, it would wake you out of the matrix. That was one of her ongoing first jokes, is, if I told you their real names, you'd sit up on a bed in Venus. On Venus. I'm sorry, my words are... I swear I got hit so hard. It totaled both cars. It literally propelled a giant, not giant, but like a big van type thing. Like, no bullshit, like 70 feet or something. My whole body hurts. But I am so happy to be here on behalf of Maria and Lou. We've been quite I could hear Maria saying, yeah, tell the story, my boy. I just want to, I only say this because this is how much I love Maria, love Lou, and love doing this with them. Like, this isn't, I can't explain. It's kind of like writing songs or recording music, or you get like a satisfaction from the finished product. But in a way, you have to spend a lot of, I want to say, like Maria said, it's not bad to say it's work. It is work, but we like it. We enjoy it. It's work we enjoy. But I don't know how to not make this personal, but it's been and the other day I said the wrong dates. You have to forgive me. For people who care and are really listening, like once in a while I'll say, I get, the years mixed up. I said 2023 the other day when I should have said 2024. Because it happened on May 5th, 2024. That I like Maria said, just settle down, go ahead and tell the story. Okay. I am embarrassed about this, and I feel terrible about this, but I never let my children have a pet until my son was like probably 14, 15 years old. And, we had bird, we had a few pets, but I was working so much. My wife was working so much. I didn't want the animal to be neglected, And, I'm just not perfect. I don't know. I just feel, I'm not perfect. And I had to change, I had to remember who I was, just like anyone else. And, of course, I wish that wasn't me. And like Maria's saying, it's not you. So don't worry about it. But I just want people to know, that cat was so special. I don't want to cry. She's not dead. She's a very, very special person. If anyone truly reflected Maria, it's her cat. And people are like, this is how fucking crazy you are. But this is what she told me. And I do believe it. Okay. My son had like a girlfriend, and we would like drop him off at her house and pick him up. And one day he's like, her stepdad works at the, animal shelter, and, could I get a cat? They have these cats they found down by the Missouri River. You hear that? The park, like right by my house. I'm kind of talking all shit from the book tonight for some reason. Because she's the sweetest, kindest being ever. It doesn't matter to me what anyone else says. Besides Maria, she's the kindest, sweetest person I ever knew. And like, all my regrets are like not spending more time with her, not protecting her better. It's just, I hate that feeling. But she had something to do. Like, I had never done the ritual. Of course, I think I had just, what happened? I had just stopped being a Christian, and like everyone I knew, mostly were Christians. So back then I thought friends were really important and shit, and being like, connected to people. And it is, but it's got to be the right people. And, I felt hurt, like, God damn, we can't even be friends because of this religious shit. And I think that's what made me say yes. He said, I really want to get this cat. I'll take care of it. I promise, they're going to give me a litter box and shit. You won't have to buy anything. And she's like, that was the power in the house. Let me just skip so this doesn't take so long. I started doing the ritual. Maria was like, she's my cat. On Venus, she's my cat. She knows how to like go into a vision, into a meditation for years and years and years. She's totally fucking prepared to do this. I'm not kidding. Mindy has a story about communicating with her, the cat, during the ritual, and the cat motherfucking confirmed. Kiki, the special cat, she confirmed to Mindy that I'm telepathically communicating with you, talking to you. Because literally, she came back and like put her paw on Mindy, like, I'm back, so I do hear you. I'm pressing on with my paw to tell you I'm back, because they were communicating. I'll let her tell that story when she comes on sometime, but like I said, my son, they thought he had a tumor when he was like 2 years old, and nothing's, we believe with no medicine, no doctors, no nothing, and it was real, because I was watching it happen. I don't believe it had anything to do with God whatsoever. I believe Maria when she said, you did it. You did it. Because you made it your whole life. And like she said, that it's hard to make you. I said to her one day, I can never multitask. And she said, no one can. I said, I can't compartmentalize. And she said, good. I wouldn't want you to. Just be real. Like, I just, feel a lot of emotion for some people. That are listening. Sorry. And like Maria said, let's just calm down. And she said, just check this out, everybody. All, like, real misery. Like she said, this world vanishes in a vapor, and the real miracle is how great you feel after you die. And like she said, you might get deceived even to come back into the matrix, right? But she said, let me guarantee you, the very first thought you're going to have when you realize you're dead, no matter who you are, if you know me or know anything, is, holy fuck, I feel so much better. Holy fuck, I feel so much better. The very, very, very thing you wanted. And I was like, I don't get it. She's like, because you're in the middle of a war, Joe. Like, this is what you came here for. She told me, she used to snap me out of shit. I used to, let me just tell people, let me give you, how much of a pussy I am, or a wimp I am. All I could think about was my wife giving birth, watching my wife give birth. And like I guess this is when it was, into like smiley face killers, death cult, runs America, runs the military, runs the bombs and the weapons. Who else has control? Whoever's got the freedom comes from the barrel of a gun. They're free because they got the barrels of the guns. They're like, we got our guns too. They got fucking technotronic weapons. They got weapons that are giving like a certain percentage of people tumors and shit. How are they doing that? From the fucking satellites that are orbiting around you. Like Maria said, just go, Joe. Just fucking say it. The chemtrails are to prepare the atmosphere for the annihilation of everyone. To end the life of every single soul. And they don't give a fuck what people say, about why they're doing it. This is what Maria told me. They know that is a totally, like, once we are on the other side, scientists will be saying, dude, they had to have had this planned. When did they start chemtrailing? Oh, in the late 90s. So they had this total end of civilization thing planned at least for 27 years or 25 years. What does that mean? They've been spraying shit in the sky, affecting the atmosphere. And listen, check this out. They say this is for your fucking mercy, or your fucking good, that this is their mercy on you. That spraying the shit in the sky will help everyone die faster. Help everything die faster. Check it out. It wasn't good enough to Georgia Guidestones. You know who brought them down? The Process Church. The smiley face killers did. You know why? Because they don't want 500 million people. You know how many they want? None. You know how many animals they want? None. You know what they're talking about? Whole new earth, nigga. What? Yeah. Dip into the brainwash cult of Crowleyanity called the Book of Revelation. There's a new earth coming after. Yeah, real serious Christians is crazy. Like, there's very intelligent people in Christianity. So they don't want to talk about grace and how you got saved and shit. They're like, dude, that's fucking beginner shit. Yeah, we're all saved. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Jesus rose from the dead. It was a Virgin Mary. Blah, 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 blah. They're like, yeah, dude, that's for beginners. The real shit, the real depth of God, Yahweh, is in the Book of Revelation. I met these like two brothers and their friends that were so fucking into this and studying every word and trying to figure out look these were goddamn experts on the shit, and they're like, yeah, no one knows who really wrote this. It couldn't have been John the Apostle. And everyone that really knows about the fucking Book of Revelation knows that this is black magic. Whether the original visions and the cut and paste job done, that has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with it. It's the intent. It's like a TikTok video, with a collage of other people's shit. But at the end, like, you don't know why it's showing all different clips of different people and different events, right? And then at the end, it just says, like, we have your mind, we have your soul, we'll throw you in a lake of fucking fire. You know what I mean? Like, they just pasted together a bunch of shit, but the ending message was, motherfucker, we got control, and we'll fucking kill you and send you to hell. Because what they're trying to do is make you feel afraid of dying. That they're literally like a a crime syndicate, and they're saying, we don't just operate in this world, we operate in the other world. You think you can escape us by killing yourself or something? We'll be waiting in that world to collect too. Collect what? You're our slave. This is fucking, man, this whole fucking country it's terrifying to be here. to tell you, on one level, I have grandkids, young grandkids, and I live in the most, St. Louis, Missouri. I just found out, maybe I said this before, I think it was 2018 or 20, was the most dangerous city in the whole world. In the whole world. That's per capita violent crimes and murders. By actual population percentage, not. And year after year, it's the most dangerous city. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I live my daughter lives in St. Louis City. And it's so much that I can't even handle it. Like, I can't think about it because I'm like, this is crazy. I can't convince her not to live in the city. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what. Like she said, sing it. I'm doing the best I can. With or without. Seriously though, and I was just gonna say, and I was stopping myself and straying away because I don't want to get emotional, but I definitely want to specifically address, people who are listening seriously. And, like, I want to make this clear. I am still learning. I'm still learning, so, and very much in a real way, like, we're figuring this out together. And, think about how mystical and crazy this is. I swear I had truly, motherfucking truly, I had never heard anyone say this. And I've told this many times, but I just want us to think about this and think about how your true self may have done something like this. And like Maria said, this is the true self showing that he or she is, or like the man and woman that become one, he is a he, she, and she is a she, he. Why? Not because she thinks she's half a man. Her soul is him, and his soul is her. Not because they say so, not because someone else says so, experientially. But, okay, so in trying to figure out your own story, I'm just want to, let's think about this and how this can be a clue, for your life and a motivation to seek, like, what the fuck are you really doing? I really think, I know for a fact, our people, there's a true, like Maria called it, a true mystery. There's a mystery going on, and when you understand it, it's awesome. It's called telepathic communication, astral love, even. But think about this. This was my second ritual, and an invisible, like, energy man was sitting at me. It really seemed like my stepfather's mother's house, my step grandmother, which would have been a very, like, a city block home in St. Louis City, and seemed poor. It was also sort of 50s looking, like 50s poor people. Like, I was looking around the room while he was talking, going like, hold it, where are we? And we were at like a 50s sort of old sort of kitchen table, for like poor people though. It was, none of it was fancy. It was all sort of dreary, and like pale and just, not new, but also not on purpose. It was real. It was like the real kitchen of a real, struggling poor person, I guess you would say. And me and Mindy were sitting at this small kitchen table. It was like a kitchen table for like, almost like a card table, but just a little bit bigger. So me and her were sitting right next to each other, directly across from this energy guy. And I see this scene, and as quick as I see it, I'm in the scene, living it. And like Maria said, this is a memory. Check this out, people. This is a memory. This already happened somewhere. You might say where? I don't know. On some other plane, there's a lot going on. You're sophisticated. That's why we say you're God over you, because you are. And this energy man, he said to me, he actually showed me in my mind, I seen myself signing an agreement. He said, he never said he was my true self. And I don't know if I said, who are you? I think I did at the end. And from what I remember. But the main point was this. The main message was this. He said, all that's already happened, just in the first ritual, he said, most of it you can't remember. I was like, oh, you're so right. Like, way more happened than I can remember. Like, it was strange, because I would remember the first stuff very vividly. And then the, deeper, and that is like clicking into another world, but the actual like going deep inside myself, outside of my body, it's so much and so much information, I'd forget a lot of it. I just could not even, I'd just be like, I can't put it into words. I don't know. I was like being taught shit like that, emotions are energy, and they're like mathematics, and it's like, you can be, everyone knows, a dark magician person on another level by concentrating and meditating and imagining, and then projecting that on you, right? Concentrating, meditate. Let me say it better. Meditating, concentrating is imagination. That imagination can be turned into like a spell, like a curse, and the more reality of it is that it's projected into the person's mind to try to force them to become that. And it could never happen. I mean, it could, but it would never happen as often as it's happening, because we're in a simulation. You're like double susceptible to magic because you're the avatar of the avatar. And I asked Maria, what does that mean, in a practical way? She said, that means you're like twice as much like a rat that's scared, and you're always flight or fight. Or play dead. Fight, flight, or play dead. She said it's, some sort of natural reaction to such a world. She's like, Joe, you're finding out the energy body on Venus produces very pure emotions that you're never... She said, you've never had your heart broken because you've never had anyone deceive you. She said there's not like a broken heart on where we come from. It's like a meeting with someone, and within minutes, hours, days, you're like, yeah, we're very much alike, but we're not going to be able to be together. Like, these magic people who are forever. And she said there's other communities where people do what they do on Earth. They live, one life together, and then they move on to someone else. She used to show me all this all the time, like people bouncing from person to person, not, sexually promiscuous. No. Bouncing from like one repeating life to another, and just, like she said, get the sense that they're not real. You get the sense that this is AI programming. You know what I mean? And like she said, you're in technology. Joe, we don't know. I don't know. And I ain't got the time to find out if it's like, she's like, we're on a fucking mission, Joe. We're on a fucking mission. We're just concentrating on what we're doing. And like she said, the rabbit is with us. And he said to me, when someone, he was like, this was not even, I didn't know. Maria would say 500 times after this, the only people that are real are people you knew before you came here. I never heard anyone say this ever. This was the second ritual I did. I never heard anyone say this. The first time I heard it was from this invisible guy. He said this. He said, all the shit you can't remember, he said, you haven't forgotten. This is what the energy man told me. He said, all the things that happened in the first ritual, you have not forgotten. He said, your mind is like a hard drive. It's just recording it. He said, but you can't remember, not because you don't have a good gift of recall. You do. You have a good gift of being able to recall photographically real things that happen in your life, real, actual reality. And he said, when someone you knew before you came here, he said, you've made agreements, this exact agreement with many people. Your very closest friends, the people you love the most, that when they get in your presence, you will start to remember the parts of the ritual that you couldn't remember. And it hit me like, oh, that is wonderful. I have a test. I have an actual, and he was smiling. And what's so funny is I had no idea the person was me. I thought it was the mushroom, which don't make sense. Why would the mushroom know all about me? My true self was using the mushroom as its magical union, right? It was just a magical bridge, a magical friend, a magical everything. And I was like, man, that's fucking great, because now I'll know who I knew. I was figuring the shit out in real time. And while I was freaking out, like I said, this is how I knew who he was. And I've told this many times, but just to say it real quick, this is how I knew who he was. I started to flip out so much on how crazy that was that he told me, because when he said that, Mindy was sitting next to me. I started to remember shit from the first ritual that I couldn't remember during the second ritual. Right there in the moment, I started going like, oh, it's real. Like, just because she's sitting here, I'm fucking, holy shit. I was tripping. And I swear I don't know how it clicked into another. I was in the energy dude was like smiling, and like putting his hands up like, hey, you did it. That's the face he was making with that total energy body. No real human features, just like a energy. But with hands, it just very specifically, but, very outlined. It's hard to, like the Predator movie looking thing. It's hard to describe, but I knew he was smiling and laughing, and I didn't know that he was doing it because he did this. That was my true self, and he's laughing and shit going, dude, I'm the one that came up with this, nigga. Nigga, you're calling yourself great for coming up with this, and it was like a trick. Like Maria said, it was like a test. And I didn't know. That was me, and I'm telling me, that's brilliant. To have a pre-planned test so that I could grab someone and go, motherfucker, I knew you before I came here. How do you know? Because when you come around, I start remembering shit. Oh, well, that's no big deal. Well, it is when your religion is the, religion of memory. The religion of remembering, recovering, return. Why? Because we're eternal. We're eternal. What are we trying to recover? Happiness. What are we longing for? Happiness. What do we want to feel? Happiness. What is the goal? Happiness. Joy. In joy. In joy. When you lose all track of time and space. When you're enjoying something. And like Maria said, okay, also, she said, go ahead and end with this. Remember this, Joseph? Okay, how does this make sense? You tell me how this makes sense. And you tell me the explanation. People are like, oh, the pictures are fake. Yeah, duh. That's her face. And her hair. And look, there's no real picture. How can you say there's no real picture? Maybe all the pictures are altered? But I'm telling you what, I knew the Missouri River Goddess for 13 months before I ever seen the face of Maria Orsic. And when I put woman who invented the UFO into Firefox search, in the image bar, I seen her face. It was like, I literally shoved the fucking table and the chair back like a movie, like slid back in my chair and went, are you fucking kidding? That was the greatest morning of my life. And all alone, I'm just like, my wife walked in. I said, hey, you want to see a picture of the Missouri River Goddess? And she went, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And people are like, see, the pictures are fake. The pictures are altered. Okay? You explain to me then, nigga, you know so much because you search on the internet. We don't call that brave. What we call brave is our brother Kalindi. You ever heard of him? Kalindi, look that up. Kylndi, I think. Kalindi, he was a shaman from America. Probably didn't call himself a shaman because he's too cool, too true, humble. But he talks about doing 20, 30 grams of psilocybin magic mushrooms at once and journeying into other worlds. And he's left this world himself, but we call that brave. That's what a real brave is. It's not brave to talk about shit you research on the internet. And I'm not demeaning anyone, but that's not bravery. You have to realize you have to live outside of the internet space. You can't let it in your head. You can't become mainstream internet. There's mainstream internet. It's just as boring, just as stupid as mainstream TV or mainstream music. You know what I mean? Profit motive. And you tell us how this makes sense. So where is the real information about Maria Orsic? Why? Okay. This is what she told me. I started really pressing her. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? How can this be, right? And she said, because she told me, she had me buy this book that I talked about, that Magic Sita had the same book, and that was the sole reason she had me buy the book. None of the information was worth a shit, she said. The sole reason was for me and her to connect on. She told me to buy this book 5 years, 6, 7 years before I ever met you. Because you bought the same book. That's the only reason. This is Maria's way of communicating with someone. This is a very Scorpio way of like saying, hey, listen, I'm a Scorpion. I got giant fucking pinchers, a stinger in my fucking tail. I'm not exactly a cuddly puppy. This is how I work. I'm super fucking natural. You want me or you want something else? You want someone else. And like she does, I've watched her move on from talking to people and telling me to tell people shit. And dude, Mindy will tell you exactly true. She used to tell me shit like would be like her ex-husband now. Like he's as good as a satanic priest. There's no everything about him is a deception. And just all the evil he did to her, and she, took it because she's a warrior. She's like, we're a team. So she's working as a team. He's working as a deceiving fucking serpent. This is what happens to good people. But Maria was just militant. Like, tell that motherfucker I'm going to kill him if he don't get away from her. And it's no bullshit. He had a serious heart attack, was in the intensive care, and almost died. And Maria said, you know why I didn't finish him off and kill him with energy? Because of those kids. Because of Mindy's children. I don't want to put her through caring, for their children after their dad dies of it. Just, like, at that time, that was, 14 years ago. And they see the light. Everything she ever said about him is true. From start to finish, just fake humble, fake this, fake that, fake everything. Because, see, people are living on another level, right? You have some people taking out their frustration on the whole world. They're like, I hate the whole world. That's not what we're saying. By saying do not be conformed to the world's order is not saying I hate people that aren't like me or people I consider boring. Let me just say it straight up. We do not hate people for being boring or being dumb. I got emotional and said that before. I said, is it wrong? And she said, I don't know, but you sure act like you do, And she's right. That fiery emotion has to be, calmed with the Scorpion water and the Aquarius air. But the truth is, well, let me just go back real quick and just, I've already talked about that. Real quick, to finish the story about how this check this out. This is how it was presented to me, but I had to figure it out. Because like she said, you're smart. You'll figure it out. And what she was saying is, dude, this is your life. And she also told me, hey, listen, at the end of your life, you better know what those runes mean because you're going to have to put them in the order of your life that gets you out of here. If you think you're getting out of here, which I do, I'm going to put the runes in the order of my life and show my true self did it all. The runes will show my true self got me out of here. My true self did all this, right? And this is how it was presented. I heard New Age people talk like that before, but I never had any experience. I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. I heard Rastas talk about I and I, like God and I, or Jah and I. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Jah and I. And I was like, yeah, I can kind of understand. I never heard there's a eternal you. This is exactly how Maria told me in that second ritual. Joe, there's an eternal you on an eternal plane of existence. He's not scared, but he's not taking any chances, ever. I said, with what? And she said, with being enslaved, with anyone confining him or telling him what to do. Period. He lives in a space where there is no space, and everyone can have as much space as they want. You create with your words. And it's eternal. And you don't have to come off that space. Right? This is how I came to experience my true self, and why I give thanks to the mushrooms so much. And like she said, you had to have the courage to drink the tea. It's kind of scary sometimes, You're like, dude, what if I really, really, really freak out? I'm never afraid of hurting myself or hurting anyone. I'm just afraid of just breaking down and not being able to recover something. But anyway, that's foolish talk of mine. So all of a sudden at that kitchen table, I can't remember everything that was said because I need people that I knew before here to be around. But anyway, I start freaking out like, hold it. Who the fuck is this dude? Are you the mushroom? I was going, he's talking, I'm trying. I am consciously going, hold it. I have to talk with my mind. Like, I can't talk with my mouth because I said something out loud, and it was like, he like said to my mind, like, I hear your thoughts, not your mouth. And I was like, oh my God, like, what? And then I just started being like, and this is so crazy because 10 years earlier, in the dream that saved my life of Jesus, the one and only real Isus, right? Isis's son, Isus. I said, I woke up sitting up in the bed. First time I ever in my life ever woke up sitting up in the bed, saying, who is this man? Yelling it at the top of my lungs. Who is this man? Who is this man? I started to do the same thing with this invisible dude. And I don't even know how it happened, just in a click, man. I was like, what the fuck? I was just standing in a field, like a sort of deserty, not a field of grass, but sort of deserty, almost looking like a farm. But all the rows were crosses with a dude hanging on the cross, like Jesus. And it was crazy because this field went pretty deep, pretty far away from me. And I was standing, no shit, like 3-4 feet from one of the crosses. And I was looking down at the ground as this all began. I was looking out at the crosses at first, and then when I noticed I was right by one, I just looked down at the ground, would not look up at the person, that was actually, I knew he was already dead because it was so bloody and so bad underneath the cross that I was like, yeah, there's this person. I'm standing next to a dead person that's died, an incredibly terrible death. And I came to find out that all those crosses represented like all the rounds of life and death that I did in this matrix. And that energy man told me nothing changes. The life you lived and you've been living has been repeating just like it is. He said sometimes word for word. It's almost like you fell asleep and now you're dreaming the same life because you don't know what else to do. I was like, oh my God. I was truly having like a moment of like enlightenment. For real. I mean, I was freaking out in like a joyful way of like, oh my God, I understand my fucking life. I go, that's crazy. I've never heard anyone say that. I was like, that has to be it. That's it. I've been doing this over and over. He's like, I've come to help you. He's like, but you have to look at the man on this cross. And he touched the cross with his energy hand. And I'm just standing there right next to him. In a bright sunshine day. It was like not grass, it was like soil, like farm, fucking hard soil. It's just these crosses were like driven down in the ground, and like you just take the person off and put another person back on. You know what I mean? Like you don't carry your cross to the cross. That's bullshit. They just hoist your ass up there. You know what I mean? These are permanent structures. There was thousands of them. There was hundreds of them. Maybe 1,000 of them. I'm saying that, knowing those are the rounds of my fucking life, and it scares me. But the very important thing I'm trying to get at is I left that kitchen saying, who are you? Who are you? And I was flipped and enlightened by the crosses and him, saying, that's you on the cross. He was saying to me, this is your fucking initiation. This is your way out of here. You have to look and acknowledge who this is. It was me. Okay, so check this out. Check this trinity out. I was standing there looking at me, completely demolished. Like it was like someone took like a hammer and a knife and just demolished my body. It was just I had to take his word for it. That was me. I couldn't look, and he was like, no, you have to. I couldn't look. It was just the word, it was like a I can't find the words, like I want to say like almost like dismembered, but the limbs were there. It was like the flesh and just so bruised and so swollen and so cut up, and so I had no way of really knowing like that's me. I had to take his word for it, because when I did finally look, he said, you know who that is, don't you? And I looked in astonishment and said, no. God damn, look. You can't tell it. You can barely tell that's a person. Looks like someone had beat his face with a baseball bat, 50 times or something. And his body just all fucked up and swollen huge, blood everywhere, shit leaking out of the wounds, and just incredible, fucking crazy gross. And I'm like a 3-year-old fucking kid, just astonished. No, I don't know who that is. I swear, dude, I was witnessing myself this. 2, I was the observer of myself and in it in real time. And I had a calm understanding of like, there was like, I was freaking out going, what are you saying? But there was another me that was like calm. It was like, this is what this whole Christian deception is based on. What they have corrupted, perverted, and sold in Walmart is the corruption of this real experience. And I was like, what? I mean, I didn't know anything about what this invisible dude was saying to me, let alone could I have been making what he was saying. I was just like, what? I don't understand. I mean, I'm freaking out. I'm like going, I don't understand. Like, and he was like, it's you. It's you. And I was like, why? Why? And he was like, because you love those two women so much. He's like, you remember how he told me? Before I came here, I made these agreements with people, that they'd help me remember. He went straight back to that. Before you came here, you made an agreement. Your mother showed you that in the first ritual. You made a magic wedding agreement into a magic marriage. You signed your name. I went, what does that mean? And he goes, it means that you knew you were coming into a world where your enemies and people who hate your mother, the Missouri River Goddess, will try to kill you, try to hurt you, try to make you sick, try to make you mentally sick. And you agreed that you would absorb as much of the bad energy for these two that you possibly could, that you would go on that cross and die before them, to keep that energy away from them, to give them a chance to do it. And I was like, do what? And he was like, what you're doing right now. The Missouri River Goddess's ritual. I was just stunned. I was like, he goes, do you understand? The mushrooms you took tonight, they went up on their cross and they died. They were picked. They were ingested. They're little beings. They're little conscious beings, he told me. You're like the macro. And I was just like, oh my God, never. What now? I was like, what now? I was trying to hold it. I gotta remember this shit. Tell me that again, man. I'm not totally serious. And he started talking. I could not control my mind. I just started going, man, who are you? Who are you? And he was like, okay. He goes, I'm the mushroom like you were thinking. I go, oh my God, you're the mushroom? And in my mind, as I'm freaking out, like a calmer voice said out of my mouth, then who am I? And he goes, you're your ancestors. I go, oh my God. Oh my God, I was with them. The last ritual, they were saying they were in me and that they helped me do. He was like, they are. You're them. And then I literally scratched my head and went, hold it. Then who are you? He goes, I'm you. I go, I literally almost fell to the ground. I was like, what? What do you mean? I jumped up and I go, what do you? Because I knew nothing about a higher self. This is how I found out. I jumped up and I go, well, what do you mean? You're me. I'm me. And he laughed. And he goes, no, you're not. I go, I'm not me. He goes, no, you're the mushroom. I go, oh my God, you're right though. We're one. We're all one. I'm one with you and the mushroom. He's like, I'm the ancestors too. I go, oh my God, I knew it. And he goes, ask me one more time. I said, who are you? And he said, I'm you. I'm the eternal you. This is exactly what he told me, people. He said, I created you. I live in a place where I would never endanger us. Don't fear dying. I'm in control. Don't be afraid. Nothing. Listen what he said to me. He was like, he knew myself knew I needed to hear this. Nothing's at risk. It's all an illusion. Nothing is at risk. It's all an illusion. Nothing is at risk. No one. No one can harm the true self. That's why he or she creates the avatars. And my true self was laughing. He was laughing at me because I was so astonished, and I kept saying, but hold it, who are you? You know, he found it. And I was like, dude, I told Maria all these years later, you're right. My true self's completely like that machine of just happy, just nothing's gonna fucking faze him. His whole message was, dude, quit freaking out. Nothing's at risk. You're in a goddamn illusion computer program. Do what you need to do and come fucking home. Stop freaking out. You know, that's what his message was. And like Maria said, speak it. Tell him what you're saying. Because I was just vibrating with energy. And I was like, I can't do this. It's too much energy. I can't do this. And, dude, it was crazy because it was like I was, you know, unconsciously saying to my true self, I am, that man on the cross, you know. And while I was dying, I was saying, I can't do this, I can't do this. Because it's deeper than the sins of the world. That's like the Disney fucking version. No. We know it's an illusion, but like Maria said, it doesn't matter when you see someone you love suffering. And, you know, back to Kiki the cat and what happened. Well, you know, like everyone's story is like this. Like it was like a perfect storm. And I'll spare the details and the tears. But I'll first tell this real quick. When I was really scared, I mean, in a way I wasn't, in a way I was. When someone came in my house and all these people were threatening me. Everything in my computer was hacked. I couldn't have an email for years because it would just immediately be totally fucking... I would be locked out of it. And the company would be like, we don't understand what the fuck's going on. You know? I went through this everywhere I ever had. My job account. They're like, we can't figure it out, you know? But... what am I getting at? Kiki the cat, this was in the middle of it, and I was like, man, dude, this sucks. This sucks because, let me just tell it real quick. There was a pharmaceutical worker, executive named Brandy Vaughn. Look her up, Brandy Vaughn. She went public about, vaccine companies and pharmaceutical companies, and all the evil they're doing. Let me just sum this up like that. And she said one day she was getting all these death threats because she quit her job, went public, wrote a book, I think. She's getting all these death threats. One day she comes home and she said, I had this super sophisticated alarm system, a security system on my house, and she's like, I literally had 3 different kinds of the best locks on my front door. She's like, one day I come home from work, I pull in my driveway, the front doors are open, wide open, just open. She's like, I never got nothing at the alarm company, nothing. She's like, I paid $300 a month, not a fucking peep. That motherfucker came in my house. And she said there was a box on the kitchen table, look this up, with a little duck in it, with a little note said, you're a sitting duck. And check this out. By total fucking coincidence, nigga, she committed suicide a couple months later. Right. Just like Tracy. Just like everybody. Look, and that's how ignorant and fucking stupid and entertained we are, that no one cares about Tracy. And me and Maria met Tracy after she died. And she was like anyone else, man. She didn't really believe she was dead. She thought she was dreaming. And I tried saying something to her about Miguel Serrano. Like, we were trying to heal her. And she's a good person, believe me. She's a brave person who gave a lot of effort. And, even though she don't agree with us, like we don't even care about that. We still love her. But, I was saying to Maria, I was confused over, like, what, and I'm crying because, nothing makes sense. Like she said, I do understand. There's a balance to everything, like I wish it, it's like, you can't even say it. She's a person. Lou is a person. You can't say, hey, why didn't you stop someone from coming in at my house? It's like saying to someone, why don't you become my slave and watch over my house all the time? It is not supernatural like that. There's now, you can supernaturally imagine protection, on an astral level where no one can hurt your body, but in this reality, like she said, we've come here to fight with these people, Joe. We have not come to fucking run away and be scared of these people. And I don't know, there seemed like there was something I'm forgetting. But I think it's more important for us to have a, I'm sorry I'm making so many sounds and shit, but it's, we're in a sort of strange space. but we want to, again, speak some words of he, all, who, Lu. Lu is all. Lu is Anna, and sweet, beautiful Dana, Dina, Donna, whatever your name is, Grandma, Diana. Oh, Maria said, Joe, you did not finish about the cat. Okay, sorry. Our beloved Kiki, the wonderful cat. So when I was really worried, and that's where I got lost in the space, because it sucks. It absolutely fucking sucks for anyone out there that has to live in like this space of like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I feel for you. It's a terrible thing, and this is how I got some peace, because these people like that girl were showing me it doesn't matter what fucking locks you put on your door. We're fucking magicians, nigga. We're coming in your fucking house to intimidate you, to make you afraid. We could put a bullet in your head anytime. We enjoy the fear that's coming off of you. And so this ritual, the ritual before, I cried and rolled around on the bed saying, I can't do this, I can't do this. And I kept saying to her, it's like I feel like all the misery of the whole world, or all the pain, you know. And she's like, just release it, just let it flow through you like a river. Let it filter through you, let it be purified through you, like we're helping people this way. And it was like I couldn't really click into another world, you know. I was just stuck on the earth astral plane where people want to be so bad. Let me tell you. Who cares? Okay, you're a little bit out of your body and walking around on Earth, so what? Or you're viewing shit on Earth, who cares? I needed to go to whole other worlds to learn about myself. The dimensions inside of us, the dimensions of memory and thought. But anyway, to sum this up, or not the sum, but the actual, I was fighting this energy fight, and suddenly I just left my body finally, and I seen this monster. It was just so scary, so ugly, kind of like the Grim Reaper, but very sophisticated, very tall, very like 20 foot tall or something. And I was just like coming under its spell and starting to get fucking scared of it. And it had like doing all kinds of weird shit, you know. It had like skeleton hands, but it was like shooting off like colors, and I could tell like, man, this motherfucker is doing magic on me, you know. And it was like all of a sudden I like kind of stepped back and I seen, oh my God, it can't really get me, because Kiki was standing right in front of the huge monster, huge Grim Reaper energy monster. And she was just sitting with her paws in front of her and just meditating. And Maria was like, Joe, she spends her life protecting you. I mean, it was the most moving thing. If I start thinking about it, I'll start crying again, and I don't want to. And I seen, like she said, no one can tell, no one can say, no one can tell by appearance who is the most powerful in concentrating and meditating, which is imagination, you know. And for real, let's do this to end with. You know, in the name of Big L, Big Loki, Big Lulu, wonderful L, Lu, Isis, yeah, wonderful Ra, Ralu, Lu-Ra, beautiful Baldur, Odin, in that area. These are all Lu, because this is his world. And listen, may we speak a blessing instead of a curse over every person who's been, giving it effort and trying to understand what I'm saying, right? We speak over you right now the magic of creative imagination. Imagination, which is the vital essence in the true blood of the true Aryan, the true air sign. And as far as that goes, the true fire, water, and earth also. Right? The truth is the greatest virtue of our people. We hold above all things that our words are true, our experiences, of course, are authentic, but our descriptions and words about our experiences are true, and they are for the love of our people, not to build any sort of marketing church or any sort of economic system. Just out of pure love. May, this is just the simplest way of saying it. May Lucifer, Alleluia, our precious, the Father of this world, truly, the Father, the astral magic Father that truly loves us and makes it all possible and promises when you fulfill the mission of the true self, He will be the first one to love you, give you a hug, and give you a kiss on the head, and tell you that you are a warrioress, and that He's proud of how you fought and never gave up.
Remember, recover, return. Yeah, I'm fed up, man, the world's in decay. Everybody's selfish, lost in the sway. Church got secrets, but here's what I say. Truth ain't that complex, it's been here always. Look, it twisted the story, flipped it disguise. Told us to search out there, but truth's inside. The church got a vault where the knowledge stay hid, but the greatest all tried to show us what they did. Yeshua, Magdalene, they unlocked the soul. Callie and Shiva showed how to get whole. Mother Mary whispered, the kingdom's within. Tesla sparked visions that ain't just pretend. It's simple, yo, go inward, get still. Tune in the ancestors, feel what they feel. Ether, plasma, the energy's yours. The door is always open, stop waiting for more. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. They got us divided, distracted by screens, lost in illusions, caught up in schemes. But Joan of Arc stood, even burned at the stake. She knew the truth that no fire could break. Maria Orsic tried to tell us to rise. Tesla drew circuits straight from the skies. Edgar Cayce, dreaming through time and space, gave us the blueprint, the whole human race. Haters beat hums in the heart of the earth, reminds us all of divine rebirth. The path is ancient, but clear as day. Go inside, that's the only way. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. They want us divided, consumed by the lies. Tell us God's distant, beyond the skies. But every great soul, every prophet who came said, look within, it's one and the same. Shiva, Kali, destroy, rebuild. The blueprint's ancient, it's how we get filled. You don't need a middleman selling the way. The truth's in the silence when you choose to stay. But let's remember what Tesla laid down. Recover the crown, it's ours to be found. The truth's in the stillness, in breath in the stars. It's written in spirit, not behind bars. This is the anthem, the call to return. Time to remember, ignite and burn. No more distractions, the truth is alive. Go within, that's where God will arrive. We just gotta remember what, gotta remember what, gotta remember what, we just gotta remember what. We just gotta remember what. weLUVu. Recover, return. Yeah. Recover, return. Yo. Bonus. And then the recover, return. Thank you, God. They brought us the bug. We're leaving our bug. You gotta go. Okay.